an attempted cover-up. It could only ever work if you allowed it, if the press allowed it. Some of us tried not to, and some of us were complicit.
The Biden White House did not like me. Okay, I do not have great connections with the Biden White House.
Well, clearly you have a lot of sources. You say you talked to over 200 sources for this book. So you have some
election,
you could have called and worked.
No, that's the point, is that they were not being honest. That's
well,
the
how did
point
the Wall Street Journal get it in June of 2024? And Jake Tapper and CNN couldn't find sources for this story then before he dropped out?
That's CNN anchor and part-time droopy dog impersonator Jake Tapper getting roasted medium well by Megyn Kelly for pretending that he only just discovered Biden's mental decline. Welcome to Nerk News, I'm Nerkish, and it looks like Jake Tapper's got a book to sell and some explaining to do, because when you spend years calling conservatives conspiracy theorists for pointing out Biden's decline, you don't get to suddenly flip the script and cash in on your shocking revelations. But apparently Tapper didn't get the memo, because he's been doing interview after interview, pretending like establishment media was trapped in the Matrix and just now escaped. Despite having spent 4 years making excuses for Biden behaving like a malfunctioning Roomba. Here's Megyn Kelly grilling Tapper for ignoring what was obvious to anyone with functioning eyesight.
We're here in my ecosphere. We were covering all of these. It wasn't just falling down. It was getting lost. It was some of the stuff you report in your book. We knew and we were reporting on, like the multi-jump cuts in the videos of him, where it was obvious he couldn't get through a 1-minute take. It was clear to us that he was using teleprompter, and there was some reporting on that at the time, all of which the White House was denying. Now, the current White House, I have some connections. With the Joe Biden White House, I had none, but you did.
Annie Linsky and Siobhan Hughes did an amazing job in their reporting, and they should be heralded, and I heralded them. I had them on my show right after the debate to talk about their great reporting. But Annie Linsky,
the debate, but you did not put them on when they published that story, which was before the debate.
Correct. I don't know what the booking situation was, but it wasn't because I didn't want them. I'm sure I said that day, let's book. I'm sure I said that day, let's book that. Did they?
Yeah, you put on a Democrat, and you allowed the Democrat to rip on the report as a Rupert Murdoch sponsored hit piece.
No.
It's just
Megyn,
that's
Megyn,
what happened.
If we're going to do this, let's just stick to the facts here, okay? When there is a damaging report,
that's what I've been doing all along.
I'm talking about what you just said.
Didn't miss the biggest story of the century when it comes to presidential politics. And one of us did. You've been in Washington 30 years, Jake. You guys, you and CNN have White House connections, but there was no effort, none, to get to the bottom of this. And now for you guys to write this book like there was a cover-up, it's like there was a cover-up and there was an attempted cover-up. It could only ever work if you allowed it.
You know, it's amazing how Tapper still manages to act confused by all this. He says the White House lied to him as if CNN didn't have eyes, reporters, or basic instincts. As if it took a classified briefing to realize the guy who asked where a dead congresswoman was might be slipping. I mean, Tapper loves to cosplay as the brave truth teller who questions power no matter the cost. But when it really mattered, he just kicked dirt and waited to see which way the political wind blew. Meanwhile, conservatives got hammered for pointing this out. They were called cruel, conspiratorial, even bigoted. And now Tapper wants credit for realizing the obvious when it's too late to matter. Here's Kelly pressing him again, this time using his own past meltdown over Lara Trump to show exactly how politically motivated his pretend objectivity really is.
But you covered the Biden presidency aggressively throughout the 4 years, and you didn't cover mental acuity hardly at all. I mean, time and time again, when issues came up, you seem to be running cover for the president. Well, I mean, we'll start with the Lara Trump issue that you referred. Here it is.
Joe Biden, as we all know, has worked to overcome a stutter. How do you think it makes little kids with stutters feel when they see you make a comment like that?
First and foremost, I had no idea that Joe Biden ever suffered from a stutter. I think what we see on stage with Joe Biden, Jake, is very clearly a cognitive decline.
Okay.
That's what I'm referring to. It makes me uncomfortable.
You are no, I can't, this is so amazing.
You tell me that what I was suggesting.
I think you were mocking his stutter, and I think you have absolutely no standing to diagnose somebody's cognitive decline.
And it's very concerning to a lot of people that this could be the leader of the free world.
Okay.
That is all I'm saying. I genuinely feel sorry for Joe Biden.
I appreciate it. I'm sure it was from a place of concern. We all believe that. Lara Trump, thank you so much.
When I watched that clip, and I'm giving voice to what a lot of people watching the show are feeling, Jake, I feel angry because she was right. And not only did you not allow her to make her comments, but you seemed to try to humiliate her. You had a hostility toward the position, but she was totally right. And then you lectured her on how she was in no position to diagnose cognitive decline, which
Okay.
you guys do at length, including on
Well-
page 4 of your book. You describe at length his cognitive decline, which is all she tried to do with you. But you had such a visceral reaction to her. And my feeling is that's because you didn't want to hear it.
Her comments have aged well. My comments have aged poorly. I own that. But I think what is significant is, in addition to me owning that, the reporting that Alex and I have done.
You know, nothing screams independent journalism like blindly trusting Democrat press releases while calling everything the Trump administration says a lie. But that's par for the course on establishment media, where they're hostile and combative if you're conservative, but suddenly wide-eyed and gullible if it's coming from Biden's team. I mean, we all remember that interview with Lara Trump. She suggests Biden might be in decline, and Tapper melts down about how dare she insult his stutter. Fast forward 4 years, and Tapper's writing a book agreeing with her to save face and make a buck in the process. But the fact of the matter is, these people weren't fooled, they were complicit. They ignored the warning signs, suppressed the coverage, and mocked anyone who raised alarms. Now they want to pretend they're the ones exposing it. But we all see that this isn't journalism, it's narrative laundering. But let me know what you think. Should establishment media figures like Tapper be held accountable for covering up Biden's decline, or do they deserve a second chance? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Nerk News. Thanks for watching. Bye.